Hello, everyone. I know that it may be some people's work hour, and some people may not be able to get on right now, which is okay and understandable. It's a good thing that we have what they call playback. Now, I wanted to share something that I actually took notes on, and hopefully it'll come up. Okay, so here it is. Let me read it. Okay, I want to talk about something. We're still talking about CPS, but I wanted to get into this deprivation of rights under color of law. Okay, and I want to just go over a little bit of something. Um, and it was talking about Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting under color of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the of law, Constitution or laws of the United States. So a lot of people were saying that their rights are being violated by CPS, the court system, the judges, the lawyers, and anybody that is associated with the CPS. So I kind of wanted to bring it to you when they were talking about law. Okay, it says the purpose of Section 242 acts under color of law include acts not only done by federal, state, or local officials within their lawful authority, but also acts done beyond the bounds of that officials lawful authority. I'm sorry, you guys, my writing is small. If the acts are done while the official is uh, purporting to or pretending to act in the performance of his or her official duties, persons acting under color of law within the meaning of this statute include police officers, prison guards, and other law enforcement officials, as well as judges, care provider in public health facilities, and others who are acting in public officials. Okay, it is not necessary that a crime be motivated by animus towards the race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familiar, the family status, or natural origin of the victim. The offense is punishable by a range of imprisonment up to a life term, or the death penalty, depending upon the circumstances of the crime and the resulting in injury, if any. So, what I'm seeing here is they're saying that any worker that goes for like CPS workers as well, if they are violating your constitutional rights in any fashion, because as I'm reading and studying, I'm finding out that CPS is humongous business. It's really big business. And I think the lady name is Schumer or Schaefer. You can look her up. She was like the governor, I believe. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. And she was exposing the corruption in CPS, and they found her and her husband deceased. And they stated that it was a murder suicide. And a lot of people know for a fact that they would have never committed these things against themselves. But because there was some exposure coming out about whoever it was that they were trying to expose, had enough power to have their, lights turned out, not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying not to use a certain word too much where I will be flagged. But people don't understand, even those people that are not going through, the trials and the terrors of CPS. And again, I'm going to state, not every CPS worker is corrupt. Let's get that straight right now. Not every one of them are corrupt, period. You have some CPS workers that are doing their due diligence. You have some CPS workers, social workers, lawyers, the juvenile dependency lawyers. All of these people are doing their jobs, doctors as well. They are doing their job, but you have those few that are, giving people opposition and causing, issues. I personally don't know what it's going to take, to turn this situation around. But now that you have been have seen reports of people, coming forth and speaking out about the things that they are witnessing on their jobs, being a CPS worker themselves or have been a former CPS worker. Um, they're coming out and now they're exposing the truth, And I don't remember what site I was on, but one person stated that they used to be a CPS worker, and because they are speaking out, they have to hide themselves for their own safety because this brings in big business, and that's taking money off of whoever it is table. So this right here is really scary, when people are wanting to cause people to do the right thing and people are allegedly, and I'm going to say allegedly, taking people's lives over this situation. So, the only thing that I can do is pray. I'm trying to bring awareness, because a lot of people have questions about, what's going on and what can I do, and I've given information to people. I've given them a number to call. And as I was listening to this one particular site, I'm gonna give you the lawyer name. His name is Vincent Davis, and I'm gonna put it down in the description when I finish. And his number is 888. That's the area code. The phone number is 888-6582, and you can call there and get a consultation from him because he's a CPS lawyer. And they keep stating and they keep telling you that you have to get yourself a CPS lawyer, one that understands the laws, one that understands everything when it comes to CPS. Because if you go out and you try to do it the sneaky way and get you a regular family law lawyer, you're going to lose your case because that is a whole separate language. That is a whole separate world, other, from the regular family law. That's a whole separate world. So do not set yourself up for failure. Get yourself a lawyer, okay? So that you will know what steps to take. And they also have a juvenile dependency lawyer. If you have to get a lawyer, it should be a juvenile dependency lawyer as well. Do not go out and get any type of lawyer, you guys. I'm begging you not to do that. Because if you do that, you're going to mess yourself up. Even if the social worker threatens you or makes promises of, I will give your kids back if you sign this document, sign absolutely nothing. Do not sign anything, nothing. Call yourself a lawyer and try to get a pro bono lawyer because your kids are worth it. If you feel like, oh, I don't have that kind of money, find you a pro bono CPS attorney, because once you fight and if you have grounds to get financial gain from your loss, then that money could be used to pay your lawyer. Okay, so don't think about the money off the bat. Think about your children and what your children could possibly be going through. Now, you have some foster parents that will take your child and fall in love with your child because you have such a wonderful child. Don't get angry with the social worker, I mean, the foster parent, but try to get an understanding. Try to work. Hi, Nick, how you doing? Try to get an understanding. A lot of people really, truly have no idea the hell that a lot of people are going through when it comes to CPS. If you're not in the CPS system, then you wouldn't have an idea of, the things that people are going through. And I thank God that He placed this upon my heart to do. Um, so many people are being affected by it day in and day out. And while we're going about living our lives without a care, you have families that are having their children snatched by CPS. And majority of the calls, as I read in my other videos, 80% of the calls to CPS against a parent is fake. 80% of it. And I'm going to tell you why. 80%, one could be, for instance, since Neek is in here, it could be, and I'm not putting this on Unique, so please don't feel that way. I'm just giving an example for those that may see this later. For instance, Neek had a boyfriend and she broke up with him because he wouldn't stop cheating. So then he gets peed off at her and said, I know how to hurt her. So then he calls in a fake report saying that she's abusing her child. So now, Nick not knowing it, all of a sudden, 5 days later, here comes a tap, tap, tap on your door, and someone anonymously called in and stated that you were abusive or neglecting your child. Okay, so that happens. You do not, absolutely do not have to let the CPS worker in. Immediately go get you a recording device, video wise, set it up, and have it pointed where you can see the CPS worker. And if they brought the police along, make sure that you get the police as well, because they cannot barge in, they cannot force their way in, they cannot threaten you. You should not speak to them. Don't even say a word. Just say, I do not give you permission to come into my home, and you can close the door. If they try to keep your door open, that is against your constitutional rights. You have the Fourth Amendment right. You have your Fifth, which is to not say a word. You have your Sixth Amendment right and a 14th Amendment right. Should you go to court and all those rights were violated, then the CPS worker and the police officer, should they be caught lying, and you can prove that they're lying by taking that same videotape that you made, presenting it to a CPS only type of lawyer, never, never, never a family law lawyer. They will destroy you in court, and it would not be their fault because they don't know that arena. A CPS lawyer will know the forms, the legal laws, all the little intricates that goes on in CPS court. So let's say they found out that the CPS worker and the officer lied. Now you have a lawsuit because of your civil rights, and they have been violated. And then it's a felony conviction for the CPS worker should he or she be caught lying purposely. So always protect yourself. If a CPS worker knock on your door, say nothing. If a CPS worker comes to your house, they are not your friends. They will play nice with you just to get you to incriminate yourself. If you let them in your house, you have given up your Fourth Amendment rights. I'm letting you know now. You have given up your Fourth Amendment rights, and there's nothing that could be done for you. As long as you stand your ground and be firm, do not let them in. But once they leave your premises, you have 24 hours to 48 hours to obtain a pro bono CPS lawyer. I keep saying that because a lot of people are continuously trying to go get a family law lawyer. They are not going to be able to help you in any fashion, shape, or form. They're not going to be able to help you at all. So you need a CPS worker, lawyer, excuse me, not worker, but a lawyer. And that CPS lawyer will tell you what your next steps are. On an assumption, on an anonymous call, I do not believe that a CPS worker, and I'm saying Child Protective Services worker, cannot obtain a warrant from my understanding, nor can they get I forgot the other word. I don't think they could get an order from the judge if it's on an anonymous call. Don't quote me. I could be right, wrong, and I could be right. But from my understanding, I believe that if it's an anonymous call, they cannot obtain a warrant, especially if it's an anonymous call. Now, one of the things that I found out, a CPS worker can go to your children's school and talk to your children without your knowledge. But what you have to do is, if you have been placed into a situation where your child, where someone called in on your child, you absolutely can tell your children they don't have to speak to anyone unless their parents are. I want my parent first. I want my mother present. I don't want to speak to you unless my mother is present. And they have that right. Okay? So if they violate your child's fourth, Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment, and it can be proven, they can get in trouble for that as well. From my reading, there has been an award to a family of over, and I don't know how much, they're not gonna go into detail, but it was well over $150,000 for the social worker and the police both for violating the civil rights of the parent and the child. So here's the deal. I need you guys to understand 100% that they are accountable for their actions. And under this color of law, it is telling you what they cannot do to you. Okay, so I always try to put information up to show everybody what I'm saying so that when they look at it, I take my time, I talk so that I can give people an opportunity to read it for themselves. Now I'm going to move the page down a little bit more so that you can get more information. Okay, that's the end of that portion. So I always want to bring information to people so they can see for themselves, especially what it means. Okay, so and a lot of my viewers are at work right now, which I do understand. Let me see. Under Title 18 USC Section 242, whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use of attempted use or threatened use of any dangerous weapons, explosion, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, excuse me, I'm not supposed to say that, or any attempt to commit aggravated abuse, or an attempt to, take the person's life, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. So here is clear cut information, and this is the title 18 USC section 242, and this is under the deprivation of rights under color of law. Okay, so I wanted to bring that one to you because a lot of people had questions regarding their rights, and these are some of your rights that people should definitely be aware of that's going on out there. Okay, so let me get to this other section. hmm I'm telling you guys, when I say I be doing a lot, I be doing a lot of searching and looking and trying to find information for people. When especially when they email me and say, well, what about this? And well, what about that? I try my best to get that information out there so that people can have, some things. But you know what? I found some CPS horror stories, and people really don't believe that this stuff goes on and that people are actually suffering. And let me tell you guys something, those that will listen to this later on. First of all, just because CPS has been called on someone, okay, that does not mean that that person actually committed the crime that they have been accused of. You have a lot of people that are so vindictive Like for instance, I read a story where a guy had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend got really close to the daughter and she fell in love with the daughter, but she was not being faithful to the guy. So the guy was like, you know what, I know you love my daughter, but we can't be together. And he said, and you can see my daughter anytime you want because you guys have a relationship together. So that wasn't enough. She wanted to be family, but you could not keep yourself out of other people's beds. So how can we have a family together if you are not going to be faithful? That was one of you guys' deal breakers. Is if someone was unfaithful, then that would be a wrap. So he thought that they mutually agreed to separate, and break up and just be friends. And of course he met another young lady, sometime down the line. She was fine up until the point that he got a girlfriend. Let's say maybe 7 8 months later, because he wasn't one of those quick to jump into a relationship. 7 8 months later, he met another woman because he wanted to spend time with he and his daughter. She was still coming around. He allowed her to have that time with her. I believe that the girl's mother had passed on, in an accident or something. I don't really recall. So the girl was fine up until he actually met someone. So they would go places, and of course the new girlfriend, she attempted to get close, but she would brainwash the little girl and cause the little girl to act out against daddy's new girlfriend. Okay. And so because she would act out and treat the new girlfriend bad, daddy stopped and had a conversation like, sweetie, why are you acting this way? And I'm just going to give it a fictitious name. Why are you acting like this towards Amanda? Like I said, fictitious name. Tracy, I don't mean to put you in it, Tracy. Tracy, she said, well, Tracy is the little girl. Lord have mercy, I hate when I have to do these fictitious names. So there's Tracy, Amanda, and Julie. Julie is the little girl. Tracy is the is the new girlfriend. Amanda, you know what? Forget it, y'all. I ain't going about to bust my brain. Well, anyway, the little girl, I'm laughing at myself. I'm laughing at myself. Well, anyway, the little girl sat down with her dad because he asked her to come in. Why are you treating such and such so bad? So the little girl went on to say, well, the ex was telling me that she was the reason why, I can't see her anymore. And that, she's really sad because she really cares about you, blah, blah, blah. So he told her the truth that, look, this is the reason. He didn't say anything about the cheating because he didn't want to, ruin the relationship between the two of them. We just didn't, see eye to eye anymore. You know how some people disagree. And so the little girl had an understanding. So when the ex-girlfriend came back around, when she would try to talk about the new girlfriend, she was like, let's talk about something else. I don't want to talk about daddy and this new girlfriend. She's really nice. So this ticked off the ex-girlfriend. So the ex-girlfriend called CPS, lied on him, and said that he did a number of things and that the new girlfriend was the ringleader. So now, daddy's involved in CPS because of a girlfriend that he broke up with. Now, the reason why his case was different is because she actually knew the dynamics of his house. She stayed with them, and so she was able to give more detailed information, and she was bold enough to give her name. So that was not an anonymous call. So it took this man he lost time, he lost money, he lost friends, his family turned on him, he lost his job because it took a toll on him to fight, fight, fight. Okay? So these are the things that happen just because somebody says that such and such did something to their kid, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. It could be a disgruntled family member. It could be somebody jumping the gun. It could be somebody watching you tell your kids that what they did was wrong. You have those nosy people when you're telling your kids no, and you're not physically, but you're verbally correcting your kids, telling them no. I said no, you couldn't have what you wanted in the store. So nosy Nancy drives by and see this kid crying, and you're trying to put the kid in the car, and the kid's fighting you. Oh, she's beating on her kid. Oh, he was trying to drag the kid and all this. What the if nosy Nancy had a taking time to find out and sat there a little longer, she would have noticed that the kid was ticked off because dad or mom said no, you couldn't have it because they didn't have enough money. So these are some of the calls that come in too, and they give the license plate. Oh, I'm just a concerned, I'm just a concerned passerby, and you don't even know the whole story. So these are many reasons why people have CPS called on them. And then I found out that the CPS will call on them, to make themselves look good. They will also put in fictitious calls against people, and it's just sad. And there's another channel that I watch, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at this couple. It was a biracial couple, and the biracial couple had an older son, and then she had like a baby, and the baby's 3 years old now. CPS came in and took her older son, and then they came, hi, happy Monday to you. And CPS came in and took her oldest child. Then they back because she got pissed off at the CPS worker. She turned around and said something smart to the CPS worker. Then when the lady went into the hospital, they came in and snatched her other child. So now the lady is saying that they took her baby, which is an African American mix with a Caucasian baby, and stuck a baby in a household with a Hispanic woman that speaks zero English. So how in the heck can she communicate with this child? And then the low blow is that her son has to communicate with her in order to tell the baby, tell the mother what's going on with the baby. So this is ignorant. Oh, what I was saying is, like, if you ever know anybody um that CPS has been called on them. A lot of people think that because CPS has been called on people, that the people are guilty, and a lot of times they're not. So if you know anybody that's going through CPS, or if somebody ever comes to you that may be getting ready to go through CPS, you could direct them to my videos, or you could tell them if CPS comes knocking at their door, you don't have to let them in your house. You don't have to. And even if they bring the police with them, you still don't have to let them in your house. But my suggestion is, if they do come, close it before you open that door. Get you a video camera that will hold all the footage pointed directly at the door, so that they can see the police officer, his face, the CPS worker, and her face. And then you do not have to speak to them. You can tell them, I do not wish to let you in. Because if you tell, I'm serious, everybody has to listen. This is very important information. If you think that these CPS workers are your friends, they are absolutely not your friends. They are not your friends. Anything that you say, they will twist it up in their paperwork and use it against you. If they ask you any questions, you can simply say, I plead the fifth. You have the Fourth Amendment right. You have a Fifth Amendment right. You have a Sixth Amendment right and the 14th Amendment right. Now, let's say the CPS worker comes to your door and they threaten you and they tell you, if you don't do this, this, and that, please make sure that you have a video camera that's recording all information, every word that is being spoken. If they threaten you to try to make you open your door or to gain access to your children, they have violated your rights. Do not let them in your house at all whatsoever, because if you do voluntarily, you have given up your Fourth Amendment right, and that will not give your lawyer any leverage to fight for you. Another thing, If they barge in your house, that is called kidnapping. Make sure that if you do have a situation where they come to your door and they're communicating, don't sign anything they say. Sign this paperwork and I'll give you your kids back. I don't care. Do not sign any paperwork, because if you sign any paperwork, you have given them permission to keep your children. You do not want that. Please listen to me, people. I'm doing this. It's a lot of hours of studying and trying to get this information out there to people that will listen and those that will not listen. I had a person that came to me and said, "Oh, I wish I would have seen your video, before I did this, and that." But it is what it is. So again, if you are or your family member is contacted by CPS, Child Protective Services, don't take anything. Don't say anything. Keep your mouth shut. Don't part your lips to say nothing, because even if you say, "Oh, I'm tired," they're going to write that down as something you never said, and because they wrote it down, it's true. Anything that you say, their words are true. If you say, "Oh, I went to the doctor and I went and got some medicine," next thing you know, in the report they're going to say you went to the crack dealer. You can't prove you didn't say it unless you have a video. So being that said, go get you a CPS lawyer, a Child Protective Services lawyer. Do not use a family law lawyer. They do not understand that world. You will lose your case, because they will know that it's just a family law lawyer, and they will run circles around that lawyer and tear that lawyer up. And you'll get mad and say, "You didn't do your job." No, you got the wrong lawyer. A child protective services lawyer will be able to fight back for you. I've given a number and I'm going to give it again. His name is Attorney Vincent Davis, and they do not like this man for whatever reason. And his number is area code is 888. His phone number is 888-6582. Okay? So this is the thing I'm saying. Y'all got to be careful out there. I'm very passionate about helping people, when it comes to these things. And then if someone lies on you and your child is old enough to tell the truth and you want them to testify in court, it is also, let me see, how do I say this? You got to make sure that if before your child get up on that stand, that your child understands 100% fiction and reality. Because if your child get up on the stand or get in front of your lawyer and the child starts to talk, and the lawyer is like, "Well, where did you get that from?" "Oh, a dream." And you thinking that your child is going to tell the truth. You have to make sure that they know 100% the difference about being telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help them God. Don't try to put your child up on the stand and they do not know the difference between reality, a dream, or a daydream, or something to that magnitude, because that could really, really screw you up. So you got to make sure that your kids can totally understand and articulate what is what. Okay, that's another thing. So let's say the CPS came in and they lied, they did their spill, they lied, and they were able to get a warrant to remove your children. You should never correspond with the CPS worker. Never, 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 and I say that, never go to any doctors that they recommend. Never take any public defender that they give to you. Never, never, never go to any type of anything. You can have your lawyer set you up with their own counselors. If they accuse you, let's say they accuse you of child abuse, the first thing you want to do, people, is you want to call your child's physician immediately and tell them that someone put a false allegation against you pertaining to child abuse, and you need an appointment immediately because you have only a certain amount of time before you can get yourself a lawyer and bring that information forward. Now, this is what you do. Your doctor is licensed, and everything that he puts in that chart is legal and binding. You have your doctor do a total body examination. And of course, your doctor may even require one of his staff to come in as a witness. They do a total body examination right after they accuse you of child abuse. Now, you got the evidence, the doctor's writing notes, there's no sign, there's nothing there that shows any type of abuse. This child is in a clean bill of health, okay? So he done scanned the whole entire body. That doctor has a right to check the buttocks, the private area, you name it. So when you go and you give that information to your lawyer, and this CPS worker wrote down that at the time that I saw this child had marks all over his body, this child this child that. And so this CPS worker wrote all this stuff down. Now what happens is your lawyer presents your doctor's note. I mean your child's physical examination from the day after, and then you go possibly get another one up until the point that you go to court, and both of those reports state the same thing. There's no evidence. They may even take video footage of your child or anything to that nature in order to show that there is no child abuse, no signs of whatsoever. So now you done caught this social worker in a bald-faced lie. So it's now time for you to get yourself together and get ready to sue. But now they're saying that they're giving these social workers what they call immunity. And immunity only means that they can't be sued. But if they are caught lying, if they know that they wrote that and they lied their butt off, if you have a really good CPS worker, your CPS worker can trap that CPS work. Your lawyer can trap that CPS worker up. There was a case that I was listening to where there was a CPS worker, and she wrote all these horrific things down about a grandmother that was trying to get her grandchildren. And the grandmother was steadily telling the lady, I'll take the children. You don't have to send them to foster care. So the lawyer that I'm referred, the number I gave you stated that they had everything all set to go, so that the kids would not be returned to the grandmother. And so he asked her a question, well, why do you not want these kids to go with his grandmother? And the CPS worker killed her own self in the midst of court. She said, quote, end quote, she's a Jamaican. They know that all Jamaicans are dope dealers. Everybody could have dropped their tongue right out their head because she made the most prejudiced statement. And all this time, you gave this woman hell because you felt like she was a drug dealer. This is an old woman that was trying to get her kids, her grandchildren. So you're going to run into a lot of obstacles, and you're going to have a lot of stuff that's going to happen. But the only thing I can say to you guys is if you need anybody, if you need any assistance, is to call Attorney Vincent Davis. And I did hear him say that if he can come to your state, if there's somebody there that can sponsor him, I guess, and then there's a court fee on top of it where he might be able to come into your state and do your case. But he is also on radio station out here in California, 790 AM, and that's a good radio station, KABC 790, and I believe it's on Sunday. Don't quote me, but you can also call his phone number like I gave you, 888 888. Lord have mercy, I hate when I keep putting stuff at 6582. You can also call him there as well and find out when his radio station is popping. because he answers questions. He brings people up on this panel and they present what they're going through. So hopefully, if you know anybody that's going through anything, you guys just reach out to him and hopefully he'll be able to help you. I am not a lawyer. I am not a paralegal. I'm just a person that is passionate about other people that's going through hell and high water, you know, with CPS. And hopefully the little information and knowledge that I'm gaining is it's going to be able to be used to help someone and to direct them in the right place. So, with that being said, you guys, I hope that I wasn't going all over the map, because I wrote down a whole lot of notes and things, and I'm going to be coming back tomorrow. I would like to thank Neek. I like to thank Come Pillow Talk with Bay. Thank you guys. I like to thank the Queen, of course. Um, she sent these wonderful people over here. So, you guys, until next video, you guys be safe. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys another time. And hopefully, somebody will come up to the panel. But like I said, most of my people are probably at work today. So, you guys, don't forget to hit that like button, post notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe to, oh Lord, subscribe to the channel. Talk to you later. Bye.